Hello. I think we're recording now. I did this and I had to redo it 3 times because I couldn't figure out how to get the video to actually be recording. So excuse my silliness, but I live in upstate New York, and this is Campbell, and it's been snowing for the past 2 days, and we've gotten about 14 inches of snow, and I'm unable to get out to Walmart to get some more ink from my printer, and I could not print up the essay to read it completely off of what I wrote on the computer for you. So there might be a difference between this presentation and what's in the essay. But I did write down the questions, and I think I can probably do it mostly from memory. What reactions do you have towards Greta? My reactions towards Greta is one of empathy and sympathy and admiration for coming to a country that she probably knows hardly anything about. It takes a strong person to choice the one to do that. I would emphasize that through the counseling, that does take a certain amount of strength to come to a country like that. Okay, so one of the questions was, what would you say if she begged you not to reject her? And the scenario was too that I was a therapist that was a friend, or I worked with a friend that was best friends with her husband or so forth in some formal or informal way. I think that I would have to have clear boundaries and let her know of the possible chance that some of her information might leak through or seek through, especially if the colleague works in a facility. If it's an independent therapist that works one on one with a client in their private practice and there's no one else to see her file, then she would have no problems. But I work in an inpatient rehab where decisions are made by case conference on certain different things. And if it was a facility like that, where the colleague had input somehow through a conference or be able to see some of her information, I would have to let her know about that possibility because of number one thing you're not supposed to do is to do no harm. Let's see, another thing would be what what do I have to offer her if I didn't know her husband and there wasn't no problem with having a colleague know who she is through, like, my life experiences. I would say that I've through the death of my son, I've had to regain my self-esteem, and I can emphasize with a woman trying to make a very um, choice in the matter of wanting to become more, to improve her self-esteem and self-worth through counseling to help clarify her needs. I could help her do that because I've had to do something like that in my own past. I would tell her about that unless it was necessary. Self-disclosure is not always a good thing. What might get in the way? Definitely, in the book you're talking, or the module talking about cultural differences, and you have to be aware of like be culturally aware of different things to therapy. And I guess this could be an example of that. If Norway, modern Norway, if the culture there was predominantly for expectations were for a woman, a role was for a woman to be in a traditional marriage or a traditional way where the woman stays home when children don't work and the husband is the breadwinner. This could be a problem because in America, um, women are supposed to be independent, are supposed to work, are supposed to at one point have something outside of just taking care of the kids, like some kind of fulfillment through job or something like that. I'd have to be careful not to project this onto um, her. Her expectations might be that she's expected to find a husband And a failing marriage is not acceptable. And this is one reason why she's trying to see counseling. So I have to be careful that I don't say to her, in a sense, you don't need counseling. It's okay not to be married. What if that's what's expected of her and that's what her goal is, to get out of therapy? So you have to be careful of projecting your values onto somebody. Like I said in discussion before online, I would find it difficulty to counsel a woman who was seeking an abortion, just because pro-life is one of my beliefs. Because a lot to do with the death of my son. So I have to be careful of that boundary. Let's see. Oh, it might get in the way. I think I really don't have any other thing I could think of getting away. Dual relationship you have to keep in mind. The only thing I did put in the essay was that if it was in a small setting, like in a small town that I live in upstate New York, um, everybody knows I don't work in that town, in this town anymore. I used to, but one of the problems is that you live in a small town and say, well, because my field is mostly drug rehab, let's just think that the reputation for doing illegal drugs, everyone says, oh, they're from that family. That family's always been like that. That's putting someone in a box and expecting them to only react a certain way, not expecting that they can change. You're kind of putting that small mind mentality and projecting it onto the person. So I've had to be aware of that, because people can change. You have to give people a chance, and you can't short stop that, close a person up in a box, so to speak. And you can't listen to what you might have heard someone else say. You have to go on that person as an individual, and not what is, oh, it's always he's from that family, so to speak. I don't really know how to put it into technical terms, like for counseling. Um, that's the thing, out of the box. Don't put a person in the box just because you might know the family, and the whole family might have had generational problems. It's just a lot of people can step out of dysfunction. Some people overcome things, and some people don't. So you have to be aware of your choices in your life and things that you do and how it might affect them. I basically think so. Okay, I hope this came out better, because I've tried it 3 times now. Hopefully you enjoy this. If it doesn't come through, let me know and I'll redo it again. Thank you. Bye.